From Jiro, and we get a lot of questions from him, but he always asks good questions. Dear brave Sir Klavan, in today's show, it's been a long time. I've been elevated from a knight for a long time. As I'm writing this question, you mentioned people wanting to make child sex robots for pedophiles. I'm certain many recoiled in horror, as I did. But given the theme I noticed of the episode, why do we know some things are right and some things are wrong? It got me thinking, why do we know pedophilia or even something like bestiality are wrong? There's a general consensus. They're listed in the Bible as wrong, but that just begs the question, why is it in the Bible? How do we know pedophilia is wrong? And more generally, how do we derive the conclusion that any given sexual act is wrong? Okay, two ways. There are two arguments about this, both of them true. The one is the argument about consent, because many things that we think of sexual crimes are not actually sexual, are only sexual incidentally. They're actually violating other kinds of, they're committing other kinds of sins. And when you rape somebody, for instance, it's a sexual crime, but the sin you're committing is you're violating that person's freedom, their right to consent with their own body, their right to do with their body, with their will. A child and an animal cannot give consent to something like sexuality. Certainly an animal can't, and certainly a child cannot. A child cannot understand, what sex is, why it is difficult, why it's important, why it's complex. If you, as an adult, rape a child, you're committing, it's rape. It's simply rape because the child cannot give consent. So that is one reason. The other reason is more complicated and there has more angles to it, which is, of course, the kind of Aristotelian argument of the purpose of things. The purpose of, what is the purpose of your body? And that is where a lot of sexual morality comes from. It is not, oh, I hate gay people. It is, sexuality has a purpose and you're not using it for that purpose, and that is basically breaking the law of virtue. Now, like I said, there are a lot of complicated arguments here, and you can get to a lot of different places, but I do think it's true that if you don't understand yourself as a human, you don't understand yourself as a spirit, as a being, as a thing with a name that God knows, you cannot know how to use your sexuality. Once you understand that, it becomes clearer that love has to be involved, that respect has to be involved, that you have to use it in a situation where the consequences will not be murdering the child in your womb. You have to use it in situations where the consequences will not be breaking the hearts of people or using their bodies as if they were objects. Those are all things that go into the morality of sexuality and can be very complex, and you can get to different places that way. But there too, again, you are misusing your body when you attack a child or an animal. And it really is, the thing with consent, it's just rape. It's raping an animal, it's raping a child.